Eddie Hearn, one of the most influential figures in boxing promotion today, offered an extensive and glowing analysis of Naoya Inoue's latest dominant performance against Ramon Cardenas, delving deep into what makes the Japanese superstar such a unique and generational talent in the sport. The Matchroom boxing chairman, who has worked with countless world champions throughout his career, expressed particular awe at how Inoue continues to elevate his game with each outing, noting that while most fighters reach a plateau in their development, the monster appears to be somehow improving, despite already being considered one of the most complete fighters in the world. Hearn's commentary went beyond typical post-fight platitudes as he broke down the technical mastery Inoue displayed, from his impeccable footwork that creates perfect punching angles to his underrated defensive skills that make him nearly impossible to hit cleanly, all while maintaining knockout power in both hands that can end fights at any moment. The veteran promoter provided a comprehensive breakdown of how Inoue systematically dismantled the game but ultimately overmatched Cardenas, explaining that what makes the Japanese fight so special is his ability to make elite-level competition look ordinary through a combination of fight IQ, physical gifts, and relentless preparation. Hearn drew comparisons to some of the all-time greats he's witnessed throughout his decades in boxing, suggesting that while Inoue's power reminds him of a prime Mike Tyson, in smaller weight classes his technical precision evokes memories of Floyd Mayweather at his sharpest, creating a truly terrifying hybrid of skills that hasn't been seen before in the lower divisions. The British promoter spent considerable time analyzing Inoue's body attack against Cardenas, which he described as surgical in its precision, noting how the three-weight world champion alternated between liver shots and rib-breaking hooks to systematically break down his opponent's defenses before going for the finish. Hearn's analysis then shifted to the broader implications of Inoue's continued dominance, arguing that the 31-year-old champion is reaching a rarefied era in boxing history where each performance isn't just about winning but about cementing a legacy that could eventually place him among the absolute pantheon of greats regardless of weight class. The promoter drew parallels between Inoue's current run and Manny Pacquiao's historic climb through multiple divisions, though he was quick to point out that while Pacquiao had his share of close calls and defeats along the way, Inoue has maintained an almost machine-like perfection throughout his career that makes his accomplishments even more remarkable. Hearn delved into statistics that underscore Inoue's dominance, the frightening knockout percentage, the multiple weight classes conquered, the way he's made world-class opponents look like they don't belong in the same ring, all while maintaining that what's most impressive is how Inoue does it with a quiet humility that belies his destructive capabilities. The conversation naturally progressed to what's next for Inoue, with Hearn providing an extensive overview of the potential matchups that could further enhance the champion's legacy while acknowledging the difficulties in making certain fights due to promotional and network alignments. The Matchroom had spent considerable time discussing the possibility of Inoue moving up yet another weight class, analyzing how his power might carry against naturally bigger opponents, while also cautioning that there comes a point where even the most gifted fighters can no longer overcome size disadvantages. Hearn expressed particular interest in potential superfights against champions like Luis Inoue or a long-discussed showdown with Stephen Fulton should the American decide to move back down in weight, breaking down how these matchups would present different stylistic challenges for Inoue, while ultimately favoring the Japanese star's superior skill set. The promoter also floated the idea of Inoue headlining a major U.S. event, possibly in Las Vegas or New York, as the next step in building his global brand beyond his already massive Japanese following. Hearn's commentary took an interesting turn, He discussed the business side of Inoue's career, providing insight into how a fighter of his caliber could maximize earnings while maintaining competitive integrity in an era where boxing's best often don't fight each other. The promoter drew from his experience, building Anthony Joshua into a global star, suggesting that Inoue's team should carefully balance big money events with legacy-defining fights to ensure his place in history while also securing financial rewards worthy of his talent. Hearn spent considerable time explaining the complexities of cross-promotional deals in today's boxing landscape, acknowledging that while Inoue's current alignment with Top Rank provides stability, there may come a time when working with multiple promoters could create even bigger opportunities. The British promoter emphasized that at Inoue's level, every decision from fight locations to broadcast partners he carries significant consequences for both his earning potential and historical standing. Delving deeper into Inoue's marketability, Hearn provided a masterclass on how to build a global boxing star in the modern era, using Inoue as the perfect case study given his unique combination of otherworldly talent and humble personality. The promoter analyzed everything from Inoue's social media presence to his crossover appeal in both Eastern and Western markets, suggesting that with the right strategy, the Japanese knockout artist could become one of those rare fighters who transcends the sport. Hearn drew comparisons to how Oscar de la Hoya became a mainstream celebrity in America while maintaining credibility as an elite fighter, though he noted that Inoue's more reserved personality might require a different approach to branding. The promoter spent considerable time discussing how Inoue's highlight reel knockouts lend themselves perfectly to viral content in today's digital age, while his soft-spoken demeanor in interviews creates an intriguing contrast that could appeal to casual sports fans. Hearn then shifted to a broader discussion about Inoue's place in the current boxing landscape, offering a sobering assessment of how his dominance presents both opportunities and challenges for the sport, while acknowledging that having a fighter of Inoue's caliber is great for boxing's credibility. The promoter also expressed concern about the difficulty in finding suitable opponents who can provide competitive fights while still being marketable enough to justify pay-per-view events. Hearn delved into the economics of promoting an Inoue fight, explaining how his guaranteed knockout power makes him a promoter's dream, but also how his sheer dominance can sometimes work against building long-term rivalry since he dispatches opponents so efficiently. The promoter suggested that this paradox, being too good for your good, is something Inoue's team will need to navigate carefully as his career progresses into its prime years. The conversation took an interesting philosophical turn as Hearn reflected on what Inoue's continued excellence means for the lower weight classes, which were historically overlooked by casual boxing fans.